Welcome back to Moby's Kitchen, and today we're going to be making an epic steak sandwich. Let's take a look at all these ingredients that we have. I'm really excited about this one. I love sandwiches, as you all know. Okay, let's start in this back row here. We're going to need some Pappy seasoning or your favorite barbecue rub. Of course, Kinder's salt, pepper, garlic blend, one of my favorites. Some avocado oil, some sriracha, some mayonnaise. I like Best Foods. And then some W sauce, let's call it, Worcestershire sauce, however you want to say it. And then we're going to use some white American cheese and some provolone cheese. We also have some baby Bella mushrooms here. We're going to be using jalapenos, some fresh parsley, a couple of red bell peppers, some butter, a lemon. You probably won't need the whole lemon, maybe just a wedge of it. Garlic, a couple of yellow onions. We've got this French roll from the bakery. So any bakery, this one only costs like $1.47, under $1.50 for that big old French roll. And then the star of the show is TriTip. That's what we're gonna be using. Some of you in different parts of the country might not have heard of TriTip, or it's not readily available. Out here in the Western United States, it's very available and very popular. And I think it's gonna be perfect for this steak sandwich. We're gonna smoke this. And with that said, get your smoker going now, preheated at 225 degrees Fahrenheit. So get that going and then get everything else prepped. So we'll be right back with you to show you how we prep everything. Now you want to make sure that your tri-tip is tempered, meaning that you've taken it out of the fridge for probably about 20 minutes before you start working with it, because then we're going to season it and let it kind of soak in the seasoning for another 20 minutes before we get going with the actual smoking process. So what I'm going to do is use a little bit of this Worcestershire or W sauce here for kind of a binder. Just put a little bit on it. It has adds some nice flavor as well. And then I'm going to take my Pappies and we're going to put this on here. And I love this little bin that we're working with here. It kind of keeps all the seasoning contained and definitely easy for cleanup. I want to get a nice coating on there. Just pat it in. Okay, and we're going to flip it. And there's a nice fat cap on tri-tip, and you want to season that too. But this kind of protects the meat and the smoker from burning. So we're going to put, depending on the configuration of your smoker, we're going to put this fat side down in my smoker. So. All right. Make sure the sides are covered, all the edges. All right, perfect. Now we're gonna let this rest here for about 20 minutes before we actually put it on the smoker. Like I said, it's been tempered for 20 minutes before we even got into the start of this video. So we'll give this 20 minutes and we'll be back with you putting this on the smoker. But right now, let's get some of the stuff prepped and chopped up. Okay, first step, we're gonna make our Sriracha Mayo that we're gonna put on the sandwich. So we're gonna start with our mayonnaise. We're gonna use about a cup of mayonnaise here. Get that in there. About a cup of mayonnaise, and then we're gonna do about 2 to 3 tablespoons of Sriracha. That's perfect. And then we're gonna add just a little squeeze of lemon here. So cut like the edge off there. Just a little squeeze, maybe a teaspoon of lemon in there. And then we'll give it a nice mix. You can add more Sriracha if you want it spicier. I think 2 to 3 tablespoons is about perfect. That gives it the right consistency. The lemon just helps it keep it fresh. And there you go, you got your Sriracha Mayo. That's gonna be delicious on there. So now we're gonna put it in the fridge while we, continue cooking our tri-tip and all our other ingredients. So this will probably be in the fridge for about 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, let's chop up our mushrooms here. We've got an 8-ounce container that we have to chop fully. You could buy them pre-chopped. I just think they're fresher when you chop them yourself, and it's not that difficult to do. So I like to take a mushroom and just cut it in half. Then you can lay it flat. And then you just kind of come through and you can do kind of bigger chunks with this. It doesn't have to be real thin. So once again, you're gonna cut your mushroom in half, down the stem and all, lay it flat, just come through. just like that. Okay, it's time to chop our onion here. We're gonna be doing 2 yellow onions in this. I'll show you how I chop one and the other one's identical. So you're gonna take the bottom off, just a little portion to give you a flat surface. Then you're gonna cut halfway through this root. The root kind of holds everything together. You just start on top and cut straight down. Move one side, we're gonna do slices. Let's move the papery stuff out of the way. And then you peel that outer layer off. Get a fingernail under there or however you do it. If you can't get this outer layer off easily, you can take this whole outer layer off of the onion there. So then we're just gonna do slices here. You can do like medium-sized slices because it is gonna be sauteed down and caramelized. Doesn't have to be perfect for this because it's going in a sandwich. So there you go. And you just repeat that process with the rest of your onion. Okay, time to slice up our red bell peppers. We're gonna be doing 2 of these. This is how I like to do this with less waste. I start at the top and just kind of follow the contour of the bell pepper around. And you cut, basically it comes out to about 4 slices here. Just be very careful, go slow. You can see all the seeds come right out that way. And then we're gonna do kind of an angle cut on these. So about medium thickness on your slices. Just like that. Repeat the process till both your red bell peppers are chopped up. Okay, let's get our jalapenos sliced up. Now, if you don't love heat, you don't have to put the jalapenos in there. You can use a different kind of pepper or just omit it completely. We love a little bit of spice in this family. So we're gonna chop up one of these jalapenos. You know, medium thickness on the slices. We're gonna leave the seeds in for the spice. We've also got that, as you know, the spicy Sriracha Mayo that's gonna go on there. So there's gonna be a little kick with this. There you go. I think that 1 jalapeno is going to be plenty for this sandwich. Okay, we're going to chop some of this fresh parsley up because the concept here is we're going to make some garlic bread with the actual French bread. So it's kind of wrapped in garlic bread. So we're going to add a little bit of fresh parsley in the garlic spread mix. Garlic bread mix, I should say. We don't need much. Just kind of turn it upside down and then just give it kind of bunch it together and then give it kind of a rough chop. Keep bunching it, rough chop. That's about perfect. Okay, so we've got our entire bulb of garlic peeled down to cloves here, and we're just gonna start chopping. Just gonna kind of run the knife through, kind of like what we did with the parsley. We're gonna run our knife through until we get the consistency we want. We want kind of somewhat of a mince because we're making a garlic bread with it. We don't want it like too chunky. So we're just gonna keep running our knife through until we get it nice and minced up. Now you could use the pre-minced stuff in the jar, but I highly recommend using fresh garlic. I don't know, it just has a different flavor. Spend the extra, I don't know, 5 minutes peeling it and chopping it, and I think you're gonna be much happier. So I'll be right back with you and I'll show you the consistency when I'm done chopping here, where I'm just gonna keep running my knife through. Okay, so our garlic's all chopped. You can kind of see the consistency there. I'll bring it a little closer. So that's kind of what we're looking for, like a nice mince. Okay, it's time to slice this beautiful French roll here. I love using a nice bread knife for this. It makes the job so much easier. This is a Wusthof Classic, and I'll put a link to this if you'd like to buy one of these. These are great bread knives, great knives all around. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave like a little hinge. So we're gonna come through, just kind of let the knife do the work, just kind of like a saw. And then kind of open it up here. There we go. And if this disconnects during the cooking process, it's totally fine. This will make it easy to work with though when we make our garlic bread and go forward from there. Okay, we're out here at the smoker. We're preheated to 225 degrees Fahrenheit. It's time to get our TriTip on. I've got my meter thermometer in the TriTip. If you don't know about meters, I'll put a link there in the description. They're great. We're gonna shoot for like a medium rare, medium TriTip here. So we're gonna put that on. We're looking for about 130 degrees or so in the smoker, and then we're gonna finish it on the grill to get a nice char on the outside. Okay, we're over at the stove now. We've got a non-stick pan preheated for probably about 2 or 3 minutes here on medium heat. We're gonna add a little bit of avocado oil in here, maybe about 2 tablespoons. And we're gonna add our onions. Now, I wanna cook these onions real slow and low so they get nice and caramelized. So while that tri-tip's out in the smoker smoking, we're gonna just put this, we're starting on medium heat. We're gonna get a little sizzle going, then turn it down to low and just simmer these real low and slow. And they're gonna get really sweet and delicious and caramelized. So that's why we're starting with these now. Then we'll add the other stuff to these once these get a little more caramelized here. So let's start with a little bit of our salt, pepper, garlic. The salt helps kind of bring the moisture out a little bit, and the garlic just gives it a good flavor. Just a little bit, maybe about 2 teaspoons. As you can hear it, it's slightly starting to sizzle now. Make sure they're nice and coated in that avocado oil. You could use olive oil here too if you don't have avocado oil, that would work fine. Okay, and then I'm gonna turn my heat down to like a medium low to low, just depending on your stove, and just kind of let these simmer. Stir them occasionally, and we'll check back with them in about 10 or 15 minutes, see how they're looking. Okay, so our onions have been caramelizing here for about 45 minutes on low heat. As you can see, they're beautiful. All the sugars have came out of them, and we're ready to go here. So we're gonna remove these from the pan. Just put them aside in a bowl for now. Our tri-tip is still smoking out there. It's probably got about 20 minutes till we're gonna get it seared off. So we're gonna get all those out of the pan, and we're gonna use this same pan here. Crank the heat up to medium, and we're gonna add a little bit of more avocado oil, maybe about a tablespoon. Get our mushrooms in there. We're gonna sweat these off because there's a lot of water in mushrooms, so we want to cook a lot of that water off. So we're gonna do this on medium heat, and I'll be right back with you, and then we're gonna add the peppers to it once these get going a little bit. Okay, our mushrooms have been going about 3 or 4 minutes. As you can see, a lot of the liquid's coming out, and probably about halfway there, but I'm gonna add in our red bell pepper now. Probably enough. I cut 2 of them, but we're probably putting about a red bell pepper and a half in there. Get these going. And then we're gonna add a little bit of our salt, pepper, garlic mix now. Maybe a couple of teaspoons of that. Stir it up. And continue cooking, probably for another like 3 or 4 minutes here. Okay, it's been a couple minutes. I'm gonna add in our jalapenos. More in there. Stir that in. Continue cooking until we get these nice and softened up, and then we'll add our caramelized onions back in. Okay, we've been sauteing for another, I don't know, about 3 minutes or so. I'm gonna add about a tablespoon or 2 of butter. Add a little richness and some flavor. And then I'm also gonna add in our caramelized onions back to the mixture here. Continue cooking this for a couple minutes, get everything incorporated. We're almost there with our mixture here. Okay, it's been a couple more minutes. We're gonna add about, I don't know, about 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire or W sauce. Give that a minute or so here more, and then we're done with our vegetable mixture here. Okay, so we've gone a couple more minutes here, and we are done with our vegetable mixture. So we're gonna turn our heat off, and we're gonna get this put aside for when we build our sandwich. Okay, we're outside at the smoker. My meter is telling me that we hit 130 degrees internal on our tri-tip. I'm gonna double check it. Yep, we were there. Perfect. So what we're gonna do here is we've got our grill preheated. We want this nice and hot. So we're gonna sear this off. Take our tri-tip, we're gonna turn it over and cook it on the top here. Get some nice searing on there, and we'll be right back with you. Okay, so we're gonna flip our tri-tip. I did a little quarter turn. We did like kind of a minute on one angle, angled it about a quarter turn, and did another minute. We should have kind of a sear that we're looking for. I'm gonna flip this over onto the fat side. Now you gotta watch it, because once this fat starts dripping, you can get some flare-ups. But we wanna kind of try to render a little bit of that fat off before we take it off. Okay, as you can see, we have a little bit of a flare-up, but it's fine. 1 minute did the trick. We got our fat on the bottom rendered as much as we needed it. Now we're gonna bring this inside and let it rest for about 20 minutes before you cut it. This is a key step. Let it rest for about 20 minutes. All right, Kimber's down here now, hanging out. She's ready to eat or smell what we're cooking here. So we're gonna make the garlic butter. We've got, just another tip here, we've got the broiler on now. So we've got the broiler warming up in the oven. We're gonna put the bread in there in a minute, but first let's cook this garlic butter. I'm gonna start with about a stick of butter here. I used about a tablespoon or two of it earlier. And then to help the butter not burn as bad, we're gonna add some avocado oil with it. Maybe 3 tablespoons of avocado oil there. And get this melted down. We're using the same pan that we used earlier, but I wiped it out with some paper towels, so helps with the dishes if you can use the same pan, but you don't have to. There's probably a little flavor left in there too, so I think it's good all the way around. So let's get this butter melted down. I'll be right back with you. Okay, we're gonna add our minced garlic in there. Get all of it out of there. I'm gonna cook this down for probably about a minute or two. It doesn't take much. You don't wanna overkill it with the garlic. Kind of right when it becomes fragrant, that's where we wanna stop, so. Okay, it's been about a minute or two here. We're gonna add in our fresh parsley. Maybe a couple handfuls like that. It's gonna do. We don't wanna cook this per se, just kind of get it in there for some nice color, adds a nice freshness to the flavor. And that's it. We're gonna turn our heat off. And then we're gonna take this over and we're gonna spread this on the bread, and we'll show you the next step. Okay, so we're gonna get this on the bread here. All right, let me move this out of the way. I'm gonna take my brush, we're gonna spread this around, get it nice and coated. You want every bite to be pretty even here, so get that spread out on there. Okay. Okay, I think that's good enough. What do you think, Bobby?
Yeah.
All right, then we're gonna take our cheese. This is our white American. Let's put this on the bottom. We're just gonna layer it. This will add a nice creaminess. I know there's a lot of American cheese haters out there, but you know what? I like it. I think it's gonna be perfect for this sandwich. Then we'll take our Provolone for the top piece. Do the same thing on this side. Both these cheeses get very melty and creamy, and that's what we're looking for here. So there we go. And then we're gonna pop this in the broiler until our cheese starts getting just a slight little browning and bubbly vibe to it. All right, we're gonna go the middle shelf here so we can watch it a little closer. If we go that top shelf, it just obliterates it. So we're gonna go middle shelf under the broiler. Put that in there. We've got the bottom of our oven kind of foil lined for any drippage. Let's bring this out just a tad. Okay, so it's time to slice our tri-tip. I'm gonna go real thin with these slices for the sandwich. I think it'll be better on there. You can see the grain kind of runs this way on a tri-tip. So the biggest mistake people make is they'll cut it like this, and we wanna cut against the grain. So there's actually a point right here in the middle where the grain's going this way on this piece and it's going the same way on this piece. So we're gonna cut it about right here in the middle. Perfect medium rare, nice and pink there in the middle. And then what we're gonna do is this piece, we're gonna cut like this, and this piece, we're gonna cut like this. So I'll show you a couple slices here on this piece to start. I'm gonna go nice and thin. And when I'm done, I will show you the end result. Okay, you can see our tri-tips all sliced up. I've got a little end piece here. probably more than enough meat for this epic sandwich here. But first, let's build it here. We're gonna start with our Sriracha Mayo. Let's spoon some of that on. Let's do each side. And kind of spread it with the back of the spoon here. If it kind of drizzles over the edge, that just makes it look pretty. So it's okay to be a little messy with this. Okay. And then we're going to take some of our TriTip. Let's go with some of these pieces here. And you know, TriTip has that fat, so if you don't want a lot of that fat on there, you can kind of just, it'll peel right off like that. So you build it however you want. So let's get this stacked up on here. Let me get this going and then I'll show you the end result here. So we're just gonna stack it up and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so we used probably about half our TriTip. So we've got a lot of TriTip left. This is great leftover tacos, sandwiches, just by itself with some mashed potatoes, delicious. So remember our onion, caramelized onions, our jalapenos, our mushrooms. Let's get those on there. That's gonna add a nice sweetness, some nice extra flavor. My mouth is totally watering while I make this. This is a good messy sandwich. There's no problem with it being messy. That's fine with me. Get some of those jalapenos on there. We don't want to miss that heat. All right. Let me get this situated so you can see and we'll cut it up. Let me move the meat out of the way and I'll be right back with you. Okay, let's get this baby folded up. Look at that thing. Epic steak sandwich for sure. I think an angle cut is appropriate for this. What do you think, Bobby?
Yeah.
Angle cut it. Angle cut. You hungry?
Yes.
All right. You know it's my favorite time of the video. Taste test time. Let's grab a piece of this sandwich here. Look at that. Looks so good. Let's give it a bite here. That's the best steak sandwich I've ever had. The Sriracha Mayo has like a little sweetness and spicy vibe to it. And the, sorry, I should have had a napkin. And the jalapeno, like hotness, spiciness comes through as well. And that TriTip is like perfect for this. Like thin cut TriTip, just melts in your mouth, super tender. That French bread goes perfectly with it. It's not soggy, it's not overly crispy. I hate when a sandwich, like you bite into it and it like breaks the inside of your mouth because it's so crunchy. It's just crunchy enough to kind of hold everything together nicely. And then those cheeses work well. So good, make this at home. I mean, the garlic bread also added like another like flavor, layer of flavoring that you would not expect in the sandwich. So seriously, make this at home. It's so good. If you don't have a smoker, definitely go get one. I'll put a link to purchase the same smoker that I use if you're interested in that. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please give us a like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, come on over and cook with us. Thank you.